Welcome to the Girl, You're a Goddess podcast, the sacred space where divine feminine energy meets empowered living. I am Hilary Burton, a licensed therapist, a feminine empowerment coach, and a professional dominatrix, and I am here to guide you on a transformative journey of confidence, sensuality, and magnetic power. Whether you're manifesting your dream life, reigniting passion in your relationships, or simply seeking more joy and pleasure, this podcast is your guide to becoming the goddess you were meant to be. Hello, gorgeous goddesses. Oh my gosh, I feel like we have so much to talk about. And I apologize, I missed last week, and I want to go into some of that too. So I had a terrible sty in my eye. And last year was the first year I got one, and it was just massive. Last year it got so swollen I could barely open my eye, which is awful and horrible and probably not what you want to hear about, but it started happening again this year, and I realized I had them at a similar time in the year. So I think it's really just environmental and seasonal allergies, and something gets in my eye, it's irritated, and then it just turns into this massive mess. So this year, because I had experience with it last year, I knew how to manage it and prevent it from getting to that stage. It was definitely not nearly as bad. I mean, it took me like a week to get through it. But that happened last Tuesday, and it was getting progressively worse and worse. And so every couple hours, I'm laying down, I'm doing a warm compress on my eye. That turns into a nap. And I'm laughing about it, and I'm chalking it up to seasonal environmental allergies, but I also know that my body is always going to tell me when I need to cleanse, when there's energy that I don't need to be carrying anymore, when there's something that I need to process. And so I know it's not just medical and logical. I know some of that is energetic too. And last year, it was really interesting because I have worn glasses pretty much my entire life since the age of 6, and technically I'm legally blind without any contacts or glasses, and so my vision is poor, to say it nicely. And so I always had a complex about wearing glasses because my glasses were so thick, and I got bullied for it, I got made fun of it, and it was always something that made me feel really insecure. And so once I started wearing contacts, I never wore my glasses until I took my contacts out at night. And because I got that sty last year, and it was so bad, literally my eye was swollen shut. I couldn't even put my contacts in if I wanted to, which I didn't because it was so painful. So I had to wear my glasses for weeks on end. And that helped me process so much insecurity and a little bit of a shadow about not being seen, because I felt like when I put my glasses on, I could hide behind them. And I felt like people weren't actually seeing me. Not only could I not see as well, but people couldn't see me as well too. And so I felt like once I put my glasses back on, I was kind of hiding behind that a little bit. And it was really interesting to work through that at my level of self-awareness now, because I could feel it. I can sense that. And I was like, oh, I feel like I'm showing up differently. I feel like I'm presenting myself a little differently. And so working through that last year was really helpful. And I think that had a lot to do with me feeling confident and me feeling safe being vulnerable and being able to be seen in sometimes what would be uncomfortable environments. I know last year energetically there was a lot more going on than just a sty. And so when it happened this time, I was like, okay, what is my body telling me energetically? What am I processing through here? And I'm not really sure what it was this time, but for the past 2 weeks, I have gone through a massive transformation in all of my businesses. I had an epiphany. It was kind of like an awakening about stuff, and we're going to get into it. And I know it sounds silly, but I feel like a lot of us do this. Or maybe it's just me because I tend to have a very one-track logical mind that says if I plan something out, this is the way I have to do it. And I have worked really, really hard at having more flexible thoughts and flexible plans. But okay, so let's get into it. I see a therapist. Technically, she's a hypnotherapist, but that doesn't even begin to describe what she does. She's a coach, she's a therapist, she's a family counselor, she's a friend, she's a business coach. Like, she does energetics, she's a medium. What does she not do? I don't know, but she's literally a goddess on this planet. And so I've been seeing her for a couple years now, and it's absolutely been life-changing. And so I saw her last week, and it was actually on Tuesday, right as I was getting this. I didn't even know I was really getting it yet, but so we had our session, and I was just kind of recapping all of the things that had happened in the past 6 weeks. When I started seeing her, I would see her every 3 weeks to 4 weeks, and I felt like in that period of time, I would have a lot of life drama to work through with her, but I would also have a lot of stagnancy in my business. And so there's a lot of stuff going on in life, just drama with relationships and friendships and business networking, but I would feel like I wasn't really getting anywhere in my business. And so now I'm seeing her every 6 weeks, and it's just scheduling wise. And the funny thing is, I realized, what am I, going to talk with her about today? I don't have any drama in my life right now because I'm not dating men. Because I'm celibate, and I've abstained from dating right now because I want to put all of my energy and my creative abilities and time into my business. And so I'm not dating. I had zero drama to talk to her about. And I literally went into our session, and she's like, is there anything you'd like to talk about today? And I'm like, well, I don't have any drama because I'm not seeing men. And that's not saying anything negative against men, but it is saying that I'm reserving my energy and my creative portal and my time and my passions for my business and what I'm creating right now. And I'm not giving that energy to men. I'm not helping men create abundance in their lives. I'm not giving them energy. I'm not helping them with their stuff. I'm not worried about when they're texting me. I'm not worried about their plans for the weekend. Nothing. My life is consumed with myself right now, and it's been incredible. The amount that I have accomplished in the past 6 weeks is mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. The amount of creative energy that I put into my business in the past 6 weeks is wild. And this is not to say don't date men. This is not to say don't be in relationships with men. But also, that is something very important to consider. That when you're in a relationship with someone, you are giving them that energy and that creative ability and that abundance. And so be careful of who you're spending time with and who you're in relationships with, because they are siphoning that off, whether you intend to or not. And so, that's the beauty of the feminine, right? When we're with an aligned partner, that is what the feminine offers the masculine. Like, that is just a small piece of what we bring to a man's life. And it's intangible, but it's so incredibly valuable. And so keep that in mind in your relationships. But I realized over the past 6 weeks, I had submitted for Sports Illustrated. I had created an entire new offering for my business, which is the Divine Feminine Playbook. We'll go into that. It's an incredible 30-day feminine energetics, sensual energetics playbook. So I created that. I was getting the offer ready to put on my website. I had revamped my other coaching packages. I was working on my social media and marketing stuff, and I invested in a really massive course for myself, and something that I knew was going to help me grow my business and really tap into my purpose and my passion and my ideal client. And so I made all of these huge shifts in these 6 weeks, and we're talking about it, and she's like, holy shit. I saw you 6 weeks ago, and all of this is like new. All of this is, you created all of this within that time. And so that's how powerful we are as feminine, because we have the ability to create so much, and we have so much abundance and passion and purpose. And There's so many exciting things. So all of this is going on, and I have a little bit of an epiphany about my dominatrix business, because it's not where I want it to be right now, and I'm not attracting my ideal client. This is really interesting. I feel like the clients that I've been attracting are selfishly in it for their own needs. They have zero intention of serving me to serve me. They just want their porn fantasies met. And they come in with these requirements and criteria of what they want their session to look like, or what they want me to wear, or excuse me? You're seeking the wrong professional. You are seeking the wrong professional for that. The entire point of seeking out a dominatrix is that she is in control, and that you are serving her, and that she determines what this experience looks like for you. And so I was attracting these men who were topping from the bottom, right? They claim that they want to be submissive, but they have all these requirements and demands and expectations of how this is going to go. And as an informed practitioner, as someone who is incredibly responsible, I know that I am dealing with someone's mental and physical and psychological health, and I have a very big responsibility to uphold that. Knowing those things, you don't get a say in what this looks like. I am probably one of the most professional, educated dominatrices that you will meet. And of course, I'm going to take your fetishes and your kinks and your wants and desires. Of course, I'm going to take those into mind. Like, of course, I am going to design an experience for you around the things that you're interested in. It's mutually beneficial. We're both supposed to be enjoying this. But the point is that you're enjoying it as you come to serve me. The enjoyment and the fulfillment for you needs to be in service to me. And I decide what that service looks like. I decide what's fulfilling for me. This is not about you and what's fulfilling for you and getting your needs met. If that's what you're looking for, you need to go hire a different professional. So these are the clients that I've been attracting recently, and I'm trying to figure out why, right? Why are these the men that are coming in, and not the men who want to serve me, not the men who want to worship a goddess? Because I know that exists. I exist. So the inverse exists, and everything is possible, right? Like, literally, if you can think of it, it exists in reality. It's just attracting it into your life. And so I realized on my website, I listed my Dom interests. And so clients saw that as a menu, and they were just picking and choosing and then telling me what they wanted the whole experience to look like. And I also realized that because I have a spicy Instagram, a spicy Twitter, loyal fans, I have these pages, but I'm not very active on them. And I'm not active on them because they didn't feel aligned with me. Because I felt like to create a dominatrix presence, I needed to look like a dominatrix. I needed to act like one. I needed to be in the latex, the whips and chains, the all black, the thigh-high boots. I felt like I needed to be in that role to draw people in. But the problem is, that's not the energy I love playing in. Of course, I can be the super strict, the really hard, leather-clad, latex-clad, aggressive, all black and white dom. I have that within me. But that's not the energy I like playing in. And that's not the energy I want to draw in. And so I wasn't being fully authentic in the way I was showing up there. I was showing up as every other dominatrix when that is not what I'm creating. That is not the way I want to be served. And so I was attracting clients who, for a typical dominatrix or something they have already experienced before. Because my most recent clients that I've seen, they're like, oh, your style is really different. Oh, I didn't know it was going to be like this. Those were the comments I was getting. And what's interesting is the conversations we would have, because I meet with every potential client before a session. The conversations we would have, I would describe very clearly. It's goddess worship. It's acts of service. You are here to serve me. Your privilege is being in my energy and my presence, and I decide what this experience looks like. And they would give me their list of interests and all of the things that they like. And of course, I would incorporate those things into the session that we were doing, but they weren't understanding that it's not a typical dominatrix experience. And so when they were in that experience with me, they're like, I don't know what's happening here. Even though we talked about it, it wasn't what they had in mind. And that's also because it wasn't what I was portraying. It wasn't what I was putting out there. What I was putting out there was a typical dominatrix experience where they would be going to a dungeon and they would have the list of things that they like, and the dom would do that with them, and then they would leave. And that's not what I'm creating. I am creating a luxury, one-of-a-kind experience that you only get with me. I'm a goddess, and you are here to worship a goddess. You are not here to serve a dominatrix with the whips and chains. And that is the visual I was putting out. Even if that wasn't the energy that I was bringing to our meetings, that was the visual that I was putting out there. And so that's why I'm attracting these clients. And so I had this massive epiphany about how I need to change all of that. And so there's something else very important that tied into all of that. Because when I started out as a dominatrix, I knew I had a different vibe. I knew that I don't want the typical session. I don't want the typical look. Everything I'm doing is vastly different, and I'm creating a movement and a vision and a culture, and I'm creating this whole world that you immerse yourself in. Like, when men come to serve me, they are entering my environmental physical temple. I'm not talking about my body, I'm talking about my space. And you are literally transported into a different reality when you come to serve me. And so I knew this is what I wanted to create. But when I started out as a dominatrix, I didn't believe that men would pay me for that. I did not know if what I was offering was actually valuable and actually wanted by men. And so I put myself in the category of every other dominatrix, which is not a bad thing. I love what they do. But I put myself in that category, and I put myself in that box. And so instead of from day one standing out as, I am a goddess, my physical space is a temple, and my presence is literally transformational energy. Instead of creating this world around goddess worship, I built the same dominatrix practice that everyone else had, because that's what I knew was working for other doms and other women. Am I good at that? Yes. Could I make a killing as a 6-foot-tall blonde dom? Yes. Is that the energy I like being in? No. Is it aligned with me? No. Is that what I want to create for myself? No. And so I was putting this visual out and attracting clients that wanted that visual. And then I was aligning with my energy and what I wanted that to look like and my vision, but it didn't mesh. And the other thing is, I wasn't active on those accounts because it didn't align. Because I didn't want all of that tied into my goddess guidance and my personal brand. Yes, I shared that I'm a dominatrix. I want people to know that I have that knowledge and experience, and That's how I can help women embody the presence and the confidence and the self-worth. So it's valuable, and that's how it ties in. But I didn't want the visual of me as the latex clad whips and chains dominatrix tying into my business. And I was like, oh, the fact that there's some resistance there says that this isn't aligned. So what do I need to do to make all of this aligned so that I am confident? I know there's value in that. I will attract the ideal clients for that business. And it's funny because I'm working on the exact same thing in my Goddess Guidance business. I was advertising to everyone because I believe what I am doing is that valuable, because I believe that so many women need this information and this knowledge and this work. And so I was putting my content out there for everyone because all women need this. Come see what I'm doing. Even just being in this world, right? Listening to my free podcasts. I have free resources on my website. There's so much value in this, and I know that. But I was not putting it out there for my ideal client. I was not telling my ideal client, this is what I'm doing. It was just open for everybody. And it wasn't going the direction that I wanted it to. And it didn't feel like it was growing. I felt stagnant. And so honing in and realizing, okay, I'm feeling a little bit of resistance about this. This doesn't feel super aligned. Why not? Or even having the physical evidence of your non-ideal client coming in. Someone coming in saying, oh, I want the service from you. And it's like, that's not really what I offer. How'd you get here? Well, they got here because that's the visual they got. And so there has been so much change and so much evolution. And I am really excited because now I feel like I can tie more of my Dom experience in, because it truly is all about goddess worship and acts of service and the masculine serving the feminine. And I've even gotten really, really clear with my current clients and my current personal submissives. This is not about you. This is not about you or your needs or what you want this to look like. Your only thoughts are of serving me and of what brings me joy and pleasure and abundance. Because the whole point of this is when the masculine is in service to the feminine creates the pleasure, the joy, the abundance, all of that incredible energy. We create that and it expands and it goes to others. So they're receiving that. You are receiving the benefits of serving me. But if you're coming in with your own selfish needs and wants and desires and you don't actually have the intention, you're not putting the energetics into serving me, this is going to be a very base level transactional experience and no one's going to be satisfied. I'm going to feel like I wasted my time and that you took more than you gave. And you're going to feel like you didn't get the experience that you wanted because you were here to take and not give. And so this is why when I talk about the dynamics of dominant and submissive and masculine and feminine, so much of that plays into it. And so much of the masculine giving more, because then the feminine creates and then the masculine receives. And the masculine receives more than they even thought they would get. Because that's the energetics of it. That's the intangible, invaluable energetics of the masculine serving the feminine. And like, okay, so that's my dominatrix world. That also tends to be my dating life though too, because I don't give more than I receive ever. I expect the masculine to give and give and give, and then I will create and I will multiply and amplify, but you don't come to me expecting to take. You don't come to me expecting to get something. And so because I have this experience in my Dom life, this is now my experience with men in the world and my relationships. And I love men. It's not that I don't like men. I'm not hating on men. It's just that men expect to take more than they give. There are a lot of men that expect to take more than they give. But if you came in with the mentality and the energy of giving, you will receive more than you can even imagine. And so I feel like that is why I talk about the energetics of feminine and masculine so much, because it's so important. And if we were able to change that and put that out into the world, and that's what our relationships looks like, that's what business transactions look like peaceful, pleasureful, joyful, abundant. So that is what I've been up to this past week. And also, it's why I did not record an episode last week. And this is a good sign of growth too. And I'm hoping that, some of you have experienced this and kind of maybe have grown into the awareness of, oh, this is what past me would have done, but this is growth and this is what I currently did. So last week, I'm so wrapped up in business stuff and revamping my websites and my social media and the branding that I'm putting out. And I felt like I had so much to do. And I was also releasing the playbook. And every 2 hours, I had a warm compress on my eye. And it came around to Friday. And I knew it was time to record my podcast. And I had clients all day. I had plans afterwards. I was hosting a networking happy hour. And it didn't happen. And instead of stressing myself out, instead of beating myself up and saying, Hilary, you committed to this. Hilary, you have to do this every single week for the algorithm. If you want your podcast to be out there, then you need to be recording. We're not doing obligatory energy anymore. We're not doing it. And I understand that the algorithm is important for getting my show out there, but also I am the algorithm. Energetics are the algorithm. And the trade-off of draining myself, doing that out of obligatory energy, sitting here, tired, not giving you my full self, not giving you my best energy, talking about something I probably didn't even have a plan for or want to be talking about, and recording it just to do it, just because Spotify and Apple will, promote my show more because I didn't miss a week. That's not the energy we're in. That's obligatory energy. That's doing something because I feel I have to, not because I feel inspired to do it. That's doing something that's going to drain me. And honestly, if I would have stressed myself out about getting that show released, I probably would have gotten sick this weekend. Because I was already on the verge of exhaustion, of drain. I was getting a sore throat. My body was tired and I was like, oh no. Oh no, these are the signs. I'm in my luteal phase, right? Like there was a lot working against me there. And I know that if I would have forced myself to record a podcast last week that I didn't have time to do, I didn't have the energy to do, I didn't feel inspired to do, I probably would have been sick this weekend. And I would not be recording this inspired message for you on a Tuesday just because I can, just because I woke up this morning and I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many things that I want to talk about and I'm going to record like 3 episodes of my podcast today. So I would rather be here a few days later with you in this energetic state, excited to talk to you about these things, than force myself to do something because of the algorithm. And if you're in energetics, you know that you are the algorithm. Our reality is the algorithm. And so, yes, there is value in doing what you say you're going to do and holding to commitments and completing the work that you need to complete. But also, there's value in taking care of yourself, knowing when you've reached a limit, knowing when your self-care is more important than that to-do list right now, and knowing that you're going to get back to it, and you're going to get back to it in a much more meaningful, intentional, positive, and productive way. So, all of this to say, there are so many exciting things going on. Trust your body, because your body is going to tell you whether you're tired, you're drained, whether you have a sty, whatever it is. Your body is going to help you process all that. Also, if you are attracting things into your life that do not feel aligned, what energy are you putting out there? What energy are you putting out there, and where is that coming from? What is the base thought or emotion or programming that is coming from? Because mine was, what I do is too different, people won't want it, and it's not valuable. And so I had to change all of that, because I'm not just creating a business. I'm not just a coach. I'm not just a therapist. This is an absolute movement. This is a vision. This is a culture. We are creating the way of life for women. This is a divine awakening. This isn't just some little business that I am trying to grow. And so everything that I have out there needs to be so spotlessly aligned with that vision. And if it doesn't sit right, if I feel like there's resistance, I need to look at why. I need to look at why, and why did I create it that way? Because there's reasons behind that I need to dive into and address those things, because we're going big freaking places. We have big things to do, big mission, big vision. Let's freaking go. So anyways, goddesses, thank you so much for being here. I know this was a lot of randomness in this episode today, but also I feel like these things are very real and very raw, and because I have created this environment that's based around goddesses and feminine energy and, tapping into what's aligned in your life, I also want you to know that I am an incredibly real person, and I am living in the same reality that the rest of us are living in. My life is not perfect. My eye is not perfect. And so I want you to know that there are incredible positives to social media, but also some of the negatives are you see the best parts of people's lives. And I also try to be very, very real on social media. Like, I even posted a video of me with my glasses on, with no makeup, with the sty. Like, I want people to know that we are all living in this reality. We have these very real experiences, and I am working through things on a day-to-day basis just like you are. And the whole point of Goddess Guidance is not for me to be on a pedestal above you. It is for me to bring all women up on the pedestals that we belong on. I am not competing with you. I am not here to put you down. I am not here to make you feel like less than. My goal is to stand with you and bring you up to the pedestals that we all belong on. Thank you so much for joining me today. And this episode is going to be released on Friday, and I have more episodes coming out. If you like my show, please, please, please share. If you think any of this was valuable, share it with a friend, share it with your mom, share it with any women in your life that need to hear it. That is the best way to help this message get out and to help the show grow. Thank you so much, and I will see you all next week.